Antron Brown, everyone, number one qualifier here at the Big Go. And before we go, we've heard from all the number one qualifiers. We got to bring our good friend in, Bobby Bennett from Competition Plus. Bobby has been doing some big things for us this weekend, got us on banner ads and whatnot, and posting our stuff. But most importantly, you're working your team into the ground covering the Big Go.
Well, I tell you what, this is not a challenge for the weak at heart. I promise you that.
No joke, people.
You got a taste of this deal when you came to work with us at Bristol.
Yes.
And I tell you what, you ask about or you speak about the banners and the links and stuff, and there's a simple reason why we do this. Because you are a team after the same things we are in our heart. You work hard. You have the passion for this stuff. And to me, WFO just comes together with Competition Plus and makes the best team in drag racing.
Well, speaking of that, let's get into some of the things that we saw today. Because as much as we love going back and forth talking about how cool we got it going on, it's all basically what happened on the racetrack. Let's start out with Pro Stock Motorcycle and work our way on up, where Matt Smith was number one qualifier for most of the hot portion of this race. But when it got cool, Andrew Hines jumped to the top. And I think I don't want to say dark horse, but Karen Stouffer surprised a lot of people. When they got that bike running, it ran fast.
Yes, they are. But I tell you what, when the weather's cool and it's not so hot, it's kind of hard. It's not kind of hard. It is very hard to beat that Vance and Hines team. And if you look, I'm not so certain that they weren't testing, doing the old rope-a-dope on the Pro Stock bike field. You got to always watch those Buells. And Matt Smith, when this guy gets on his game, he's deadly. And if this would have stayed hot, the racing would have stayed hot, the weather conditions, I didn't see anybody beating Matt Smith this weekend.
Now, when Andrew says that he treats this like any other race and he's trying to block out the whole this is the U.S. Nationals kind of thing,
yeah.
You feel like he's doing that effectively? Do you think that's a good strategy for a rider?
You can say whatever you want, but the Super Bowl is still the Super Bowl. You know, if I'm a journalist and I'm covering the Super Bowl, yeah, it's just another game, but it's not really. Do you really believe that?
Yes, I understand exactly
you know what
you're
I mean?
saying. You can politic as much as you want, but Andrew, he seems determined. That's one thing. This has been a marathon, and we just heard from the four guys that to this point in the marathon, I don't know what part in the marathon we would be, but now it's time to really go.
Yeah, it's really time. It's time to really go. But you know, do we really need this many days of this race?
I don't know. What do you think about it? 5 sessions. Isn't that kind of cool, though?
Unless the NHRA is going to step up and make this a race set apart from the other, yes, you can say there's a tradition, but what is really different separating this event from another? Nothing. Used to, we had double points. Yeah, well, that's still, you know, by Ethiopian standards compared to the other motorsports. Right. So, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, drag racing just doesn't pay well. We all get into this sport because we have the passion for it, not because of the money, you know. And the same way with these guys. But then, you know, let's do something. Let's make this race not just another stop on the tour. Double points.
Well, listen, you can't say that without me saying, like what? Like what? You mentioned double points. It used to be double points. That was kind of cool, but it doesn't make a difference now that there's a countdown because the points are going to reset next week anyway. It would just basically allow someone to jump from, I guess, someone outside the top 10. If they did something big, they could burst into the top 10. They'd have a better shot. What else?
Here's my challenge. NHRA marketing department needs to get off their butt and get us some special bonus events for these racers. A funny car showdown, a top fuel showdown, a pro stock bike. None of this. And that was the reason that we had this extended event.
The Bud Shootout.
Is to fit all of these events in there. Well, we don't have that. And to be honest, I don't think they're losing any sleep trying to get another one.
Pro stock. Bobby Bennett.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be a mood killer.
No. This is not a mood killer. This is bringing the heat, and this is what we want. This is why we do WFO Radio and why CompetitionPlus.com exists. You walk through the pits, and these are the kind of attitudes. People want a whole bunch of different things, and every sport right now is examining itself. Every sport. I know baseball is something close to your heart. They're talking about bringing another wild card in.
Yes.
Mixing it up. Every sport is forced to evaluate what it's doing and figure out how it's doing better. Because there's less and less dollars in people's pockets to spend at places, period. And they're going to be pickier and pickier about where they choose it. It better be good. Well, simple as that.
I just wish drag racing was making the same effort that these other sports were making. And we're not. Let's face it, we are not making the same effort that these are. We can say we are, but we're not. I mean, that's it. But you know what? I don't want to cheat the pro stock guys of their time.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
And each one of us were assigned to cover a class this weekend. Susan Wade's doing funny car. Tracy Rink's doing top fuel and bikes. I'm doing pro stock. Lauren Jones is doing pro mod and sportsman. So one thing that I noticed about pro stock is that while Indy is chock full of tradition, it's no respecter of tradition. Case in point, WJ, the winningest pro stock driver, on the sidelines tomorrow, while Buddy Perkison, Mark Martino, and Vincent Noble, drivers who have never competed at the Big Go, are racing.
That Buddy Perkinson story is a great story.
I sat and watched two of my colleagues throw down a bet whether he'd make the field or not, and one of them, he says, "You're going to have to give me odds on this one," and the guy who took the odds won. I won't tell who they are.
No, of course. but you know, for entertainment purposes only, of course.
Yeah. but you know, you look at the tradition of this and pro stock.
It's sad about Warren, though.
Yeah, it is, and it's sad that corporate America doesn't notice the value of this guy. I mean, Warren Johnson. I mean, he's the winningest driver in pro stock.
Equivalent to the other legends, we could have a grandstand named after him at some point.
And we need to evaluate, is it the pro stock class? Is it the sport? I mean, drag racing's pro stock is supposed to be the equivalent to a NASCAR Cup car, right?
Absolutely. The highest level of factory machines, naturally aspirated, it doesn't even necessarily have to be naturally aspirated now, but a factory machine in an acceleration test as opposed to a 500-mile endurance-style race.
In the media, pro stock, not to the media, but to the NHRA, these pro stock cars are an afterthought.